Moving on to Chapter 1, our first lesson, 1.1, is on rates. And rates are really kind of nice because we can use them in our everyday thinking. You can see some different examples of rates and unit rates. So what are we going to learn today? We're going to learn to find a unit rate and to determine the lowest price. So let's look at our vocabulary and key concepts. The first vocabulary word is rate. Well, rate is a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units and is written as a fraction. So in the example below, we're comparing our beats of our heart to minutes. And 160 beats in 2 minutes. Notice that the units are beats and minutes, and they're different. Well, in a unit rate, that's a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1 unit. So if we look at the example below, in 1 minute, we have 80 beats. Make sure you copy this in your notes. So here's some examples of common rates that we might use in our daily life. A number of miles in an hour. We call that miles per hour, or mph, and that's our average speed. So when we're traveling, that's helpful to kind of give us an idea of how long it will take us to get somewhere. Another example is the number of miles per gallon. Also, when we're traveling, we look at gas mileage, or how many miles per gallon we get when we're driving. If we have a big heavy car, it might get less miles per gallon than a small compact car. And that helps us with spending money on gas. Now the next one is the number of dollars per pound. And we use that in the grocery store every day. You can see, oh, it's 49 cents per pound for bananas. And if our bananas weigh 1 pound, we're going to pay 49 cents. If they weigh 2 pounds, we're going to be paying 98 cents, and so on. Copy any information you need in your notes. So, the steps to finding the unit rate is to first write a ratio as a fraction, including the unit name. This is giving you the rate. Now to find the unit rate, we divide the numerator and the denominator by the denominator to get that unit rate. And then we simplify. Copy this information into your notes. So let's look at example 1. Adrian biked 24 miles in 4 hours. If she biked at a constant speed, how many miles did she ride in 1 hour? Well, we can see our rate is right here. 24 miles in 4 hours. So let's write that as a fraction. 24 miles in 4 hours. Now, as I said before, we're going to divide by 4, which is our denominator. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So this helps us answer the question, how many miles did she ride in 1 hour? You can say that Adrian biked 6 miles in 1 hour. And that's your final answer. Make sure you've copied all this information into your notes. So now let's look at example 2. It says find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. That means I want to find out how much does 1 juice box cost. Well, the first thing that we do is we write the rate as a fraction. So that's $2 for 8 boxes. Now we divide by the denominator, and this is where I would use my calculator and type in 2 divided by 8, and I would get 0.25 on the top, and then 8 divided by 8 is 1. So what does this mean? It means that the unit price is 25 cents per juice box. That's my final answer. Make sure you've copied everything in your notes. Now, here's example 3. We need to find the unit rate for each bag of food first, because they're asking us the price of 3 different bags of dog food. They're given which size bag has the lowest price per pound, and we have to round to the nearest cent. So we see that we have a 40-pound bag, a 20-pound bag, and an 8-pound bag. The 40-pound bag costs $49. The 20-pound bag costs $23.44. And the 8-pound bag costs $9.88. So let's look at our 40-pound bag first. We've got our 40-pound bag. We're going to write that ratio. It's $49 for 40 pounds. And I'm going to abbreviate. We divide by 40. And if I use my calculator, I get 1.225. Well, I'm going to round that to approximately $1.23 per pound. So now if I look at my 20-pound bag, we know that that cost $23.44 for that 20-pound bag. I'm going to divide by my denominator. And if I use my calculator, I get 1.172. I'm going to round that to $1.17. So now, if I look at my 8-pound bag, that cost me $9.88 for 8 pounds. I divide by my denominator, and I get 1.235. So I'm going to round that to 1.24. So now looking, I have $1.23 per pound for the 40-pound bag, $1.17 for the 20-pound bag, and $1.24 for the 8-pound bag. So looking at that, which one is the smallest number? We can say that the 20-pound bag sells for the lowest price per pound. That's my final answer. Make sure that you've copied everything down in your notes. Now here's our final example. Lexi painted 2 faces in 8 minutes at the craft fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? Well, there's a couple ways we could solve this. I can look at it and I can say, well, 2 faces in 8 minutes means 1 face in 4 minutes because I divided each one by 2. One face in 4 minutes, and I have 40 minutes. Well, 40 divided by 4 is 10. So that tells me how many faces I paint. But I'm going to do it the way that we've learned. Okay, so we know that Lexi can paint 2 faces in 8 minutes. So let's write that ratio problem. 2 faces, 8 minutes. We divide by 8. Using our calculator, we get 0.25 faces, or a quarter of a face, in 1 minute. Now, since our problem asks how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes, we have to multiply our unit rate times 40. So let's take that 25, or 0.25, one face, this is face, 1 minute, and we're going to times it by 40 minutes. Well, the minutes can cancel each other out, and now I have 25, or 0.25, times 40, and if I use my calculator, I'm going to get 10 faces. And there's my final answer. A lot of work, but it's simple. Make sure you've copied everything down in your notes. Now you're going to complete your on your own problems and bring them to class along with your completed notes. The first problem is similar to example 1, second problem example 2, third problem example 3, and fourth problem example 4. Good luck, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.